Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is John Stockdale. This is CJ Leonardi. He's been taken for, this is his 5th year, right? And so we've done a couple of videos. We liked what we were doing, so we decided to go ahead and do a couple more. And our first video together, we talked about the treble strings, well, the top 4 strings.
Yes.
And we just moved minor 7 chromatically. And if you want to watch that video, it's right here. And then we talked about in our next video that we talked about the lower strings, the bass strings, and we just moved major 7, lowered the 7 to a dominant 7, minor 7, then minor 7 flat 5, and we talked about why is it called a minor 6 with a 6 in the bass, which we'll do again here. Welcome back. We're going to start with a major triad and double the root. So we got our root on the A string, 10th position, and let's play it together. We got G, D, G, and B. And I said the letters and the numbers are from the lowest to the highest.
1, 5, 1, 3.
Okay, 1, 5, 1, 3. So there's our power chord. So if you have power, if you got another player that's playing the full chord, maybe you can just play the down an octave, you know, and I can play the, you know, the distorted part, you know, while he's playing that whole chord up there on top. And in the band, it might, you know, sound a little bit more full. Well, anyway, let's go through what can substitute for that or extend from there. We've got 2 roots, so the note on the 12th fret we can lower down a half step and it becomes what?
G major 7.
So G major 7, we've got 1, 5, 7, 3. We can also drop the 7 down to the 6, and we've got an extension 1, 5, 6, 3, and so that can substitute, and you can go back and forth between all 3 of those chords. And if we play the note in between that, what note is that?
It's an F natural.
Yeah, so that becomes our
dominant
flat 7 note. Okay, so we've got a 1, 5, flat 7, 3. Now if we lower the 3rd, which is our pinky, then the chord becomes
G minor 7.
G minor 7, which we have root 5, flat 7, flat 3. Now, if we flatten the 5, then we've got 2 ways we can think about this. There's different schools that teach different things, and so if we looked at in the harmonized major scale, this family of chord numbers would be called a
G minor 7 flat 5.
Minor 7 flat 5, because that's what we did. We had a dominant chord, we flattened the 3rd, now we flat the 5. We got a flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. So we got a root, flat 5, flat 7, and the flat 3rd. And the reason why we call that is because there's no root underneath the note. There's not a 3rd underneath the root, which there's no E natural in this chord, being that G is the root. And if we look at the 3rd of this chord, we can call that the root. This is what the another school or another way to think about it is. Your choice. You know, it's good to know both ways. You know that the 3rd of this chord is
B flat.
B flat. So we've got B flat minor, B flat, and then our minor is the D flat, and then the note F is the 5th, and then the 6 is in the bass. And so B flat minor 6 is the chord with the 6, the first finger, G in the bass. Now if we look at a different angle, this vantage point, if we take the 5 of this chord and lower it, it becomes a fully diminished chord. But we could think of it also as G minor 7 flat 5 and when we double flat the 7, and it becomes any one of these notes is the root because there's a 3rd, you know, underneath it. So here comes the whole different thing, whole thing about how it comes back around. So we've got either it could be called
G
diminished 7, yeah,
yes,
or
D flat diminished 7,
or
D flat diminished 7,
yeah,
or F flat diminished 7,
F flat diminished 7,
or
E diminished 7,
7,
A sharp diminished 7, any of those tones. You know, we're looking at each note and it's in harmonic equivalence, and that's one way to look at that. So if we go back to the beginning, a good way to walk and memorize these is to chromatically descend, you know, at least 4 of these notes or 5 of these notes, you know, 5 of these chords at a time. You know, so let's do 4. We're going to start with G major 7, and we just arpeggiate the chord, and then we're going to say flat the 7, and so you find the 7 and you flat it. You do that first, and then you say the name of the chord is G7. Now you can think about, okay, well, what key am I in, and what key would we be in?
We'd be in C major.
And because that's a 5 chord. And now when we lower the 3rd to a dominant chord, it becomes
G minor 7.
G minor 7. So that can be looked at as a
2, a 3, or a 6.
a 2, 3, or a 6 chord in the harmonized major scale. If we lower the 5, then it's a 7 chord. Or if we're looking at the flat 3rd of this chord as the root, it's a 2 chord. If we lower the root, then we start all over again. So now we've got, since we're descending, we're going to call this G flat minor, G flat major 7. Lower the 7, we got G flat 7. Lower the 3rd, we got G flat
Minor 7.
minor 7. Lower the 5, we got
G flat major minor 7 flat 5.
or
It would be a minor 6 with a 6 in the bass.
right. And what is the 6?
6 is actually going to be the G flat. Oh,
Well, it'd be F sharp, wouldn't it?
yes, it would be.
And why was it? Why would it be F sharp instead of G flat?
Because the G is acting as the 7 of the A.
And not the 6.
Yes,
exactly.
It's an F sharp.
So in other words, in the key of A, F sharp is the 6th scale degree, and he said that G is the 7th, and so
Yes.
that's why we don't call it A minor 6 with G flat in the bass. We say,
Yeah.
you know, so. And now we lower the root of that chord. Well, not that chord, but the root of F sharp minor 7 flat 5
Yes.
down a half step. Then we've got, it starts over again. So we've got, we'll strum it this time. So we'll say the names of the chord. We've got F major 7, drop the 7, F7, drop the 3rd, F minor 7, drop the 5, F minor 7 flat 5, drop the root and it starts over again. E major 7, drop the 7, E7, drop the 3, E minor 7, drop the 5, E minor 7 flat 5, or G minor 6 with a 6 in the bass, which is the note E. Now we can also stop and we can add a couple more. And so if we lower the 2nd finger number, we have as an E minor 7 flat 5 and double flat the 7, or we're flattening the 5 of a G minor 6. Then we've got E. I'm going to look at E tonic diminished, and why it's called that is because it's, you know, the lowest note. Yeah. We've been lowering everything. Let's just keep on lowering one of the notes of this diminished 7 chord. If we lower the lowest note, the bass note, it becomes dominant, right? Right. Let's bring it back to, you know, back where it came from. E tonic diminished 7, right? Okay, if I lower the ring finger, what does it become?
That would just be A7.
A7. So the note that you're lowering it to becomes the root.
Yes.
Okay, so if I take my first finger, I go back to my ring finger note, goes back, and I'm playing E tonic diminished 7 again, and I lower the first finger, that becomes the root of what chord?
C7.
So that's a different way of playing C7. So if I bring it back, then I lower the pinky note, the soprano note, that was the alto tone that we just lowered. If I lower the soprano to what pitch?
That would be an F sharp.
Or?
G flat.
Okay, we'll look at it as a G flat.
Yes, we're lowering.
Okay, and that's a different way of playing.
G flat 7.
So I can play this chord and you can play that one. Let's arpeggiate it. Ready, go. Okay. All right, so that's a little bit about the tonic. What if we raised those notes? Let's go back to E tonic diminished. And let's raise the 2nd finger up a half step. Okay.
Where's that 2nd?
So E diminished 7. And then we're going to raise the bass note, E diminished 7.
My head.
Yeah. There you go. tied in. Easy to do. And then, so if we raise the root, not the root note, because that'd be ridiculous.
The bass note.
That has to be called the bass note, because each one of them is the root.
Correct.
You know, so we can't be talking like that. You know? So we raise in that tone. Now this chord is called, what's the chord called now?
It's a minor 6.
It's a minor 6 chord.
Yes.
That should be the next video. I think we've gone as far enough today for somebody to do a lot of homework, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, all we're doing is let's go back to G major 7. Play along with us. We're going to do G major 7, lower the 7, G7, lower the 3rd, G minor 7, lower the 5, we'll call it G minor 7 flat 5, lower the root. We're going to say G flat because we're descending, okay? If we're ascending, then we'll talk about it, you know, sharp, you know. So we got G flat, major 7, we're going to lower the 7, we got G flat 7, lower the 3rd, G flat minor 7. Lower the 5, G flat minor 7 flat 5. Lower the root, F major 7.
Correct.
Yeah. Lower the 7. We got G F7. Lower the 3rd. We got F minor 7. Lower the 5. We got F minor 7 flat 5. Lower the root, E major 7. Lower the 7. E7. Lower the 3rd. E minor 7. Lower the 5th. E minor 7 flat 5. Lower the 7 again. What do we got? E tonic diminished. Okay? And we can lower any of those notes and it becomes dominant. And we raise any of the notes and it becomes a minor 6 chord. Okay. Alright, well that's enough for today. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful day, man. And keep rocking. Thanks again, man. That was a you know, for joining in on a video. That was really fun, man. We're gonna have to do another one.
Yeah.
Alright, rock on. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.